Okay, today we're going to have, this video is going to be about research paper rules. Some things that you can and can't do when you're writing the research paper. These are really important things for you to keep track of, really important things for you to watch for as you are writing. Um, you know, don't get caught up as we start writing the paper, don't get caught up in being so concerned about the rules, but when you go back to edit it, you want to make sure that you're concerned about the rules. Okay, so this might be a video that you, after you're done writing, you want to go back and watch again. I would encourage you to take notes or take a screenshot of my bulletin board when we get done so that you have some place where you can look to know what these rules are, because you are going to be held accountable for them as you turn in your papers and I am grading them. So some of these things we've gone over before. I got get up on my knees on my counter. Some of the things we've gone over before when we talked about essay writing in general. When we did the cheeseburger essay, and I said there's a difference between a formal essay and an informal writing, and this research paper is a formal writing. So you need to be aware of these rules. So some of this is a repeat of something that maybe you already know or I've said before, and some of this might be new. But rule number one. Okay, so we're going to do research paper rules. Okay, so rule number one is no personal pronouns. Okay, you may not use you and I or any form of us being in this paper. So you may not use you or your. Got ahead of myself there. You may not use you or your. You cannot say me or I. You cannot say we, us. We cannot say our or ours. You, me, we, us, I, your, our, ours. Those are all off limits. Okay? You may, however, use, and I'll put a star for this, you may say he, she, they, them, and their. Okay? So if you are talking about those people, you can use those kinds of pronouns. He, she, they, anything that's indicating somebody away from the writer or the reader. Anything that includes the writer or the reader and comes inward or directly to the speaker, you cannot use. Okay? Rule number two, no contractions. So a contraction is when you take out a letter and you use the apostrophe T. So don't needs to be written out as do not. Won't needs to be written out as will not. Can't needs to be written out as can not. Right? There's a whole bunch of them. There shouldn't, wouldn't, there's lots of them. You can't do that. You have to write it out as can not. All right? Rule number three. This one is has to do with numbers. So numbers less than 100, you have to write those out in words. So if you're trying to say like 75%. 75% of the people who are homeless, blah, 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 blah. You can't write it like this. You have to write it as 70 hyphen 5%. Okay? If you said 34 people, you need to write that out as 30 dash 4 people. If you have something that says like 4.9% of the population, please don't write out 4.9. You're going to take most of your statistics anyway and have to paraphrase them into your own words. So at this point, I would change this one of 4.9% to say almost 5, write out the word 5%. Okay, same thing if it said like 3.5. Write that out in words or round it up. Or you could say over 3%. Okay, it doesn't have to be that exact statistic of 3.4 people percent. Write it out in words, and feel free to, when you have decimal points, feel free to round them up, round them down, use words like almost, over half, less than, this one you could say, less than 5% of the people or of the population, whatever it is that you're trying to say, but your numbers have to be written out. Okay, so you might want a screenshot of that so that you have those rules for later, or to write those down, because I've got just a couple more things that I'm going to use. And here we go. Let me clear my whiteboard. Okay. Toss that one to the side. Here's the next one. That was number 3. So number 4 is use strong writing. Okay, using strong writing. Try to avoid words like maybe, might have. They're just not strong words. Also, when you say things like I think, and I'm going to go back to my original example of abortion. I think abortion is wrong. Okay, very simple sentence. It's my opinion. Maybe when you were writing your thesis statement, you wanted to say, I think this is the way that it is. Instead, we want to use strong writing. We want to get rid of any of our opinion, and instead we want to just state things as fact. So instead of saying, I think abortion is wrong, just say, abortion is wrong. Do you see the difference there? I think abortion is wrong is a weak statement. It means I'm taking my personal little bitty one person opinion and making a statement. I think it is, but maybe you don't think it is. Like that's how people read it when you are trying to say something and we're saying write in a strong way versus writing in a weak way. When you do it this way and just say abortion is wrong, now it's a fact. I can say this statement, and I tried to get you to write statements on your note cards about your different categories that you made. 3 of them is what you were supposed to do. And I want those statements to be the kinds of things that you're going to use in your paper. So abortion is wrong. Abortion is a horrifying procedure. Abortion is unnecessary. Those are all opinions, but we're not stating them as our opinion. We're stating them as fact. That's what we want to do. So we're going to try to not use things like I think. We're not going to use I believe. Again, that's a weak statement. We're not going to say things like in my opinion. It's weak, and frankly, nobody cares about your opinion. It's a research paper. This is not a persuasion paper. It's not an opinion paper. This is a research paper, and we're stating things as fact. So instead of saying, in my opinion, abortion is never necessary, you just say, abortion is never necessary. Okay? Get rid of the things like, in my opinion. Strong writing, just state that something is the way that it is. Get rid of these things that you have been using before them. And the last rule that I want to use for you today is please, please, please do not say in this paper I will show you. This paper will show you that. This paper will show that abortion is awful. None of those things are necessary. All of those things make for weak writing. Instead, just say, abortion is awful. We don't need to say, in this paper, I will. Weak writing. It was okay when you did it in elementary and middle school. It gave your paper focus so that you knew what your paper was going to do. But now that you're in high school and preparing to go beyond, you don't need to say what your paper's going to do. You just need to do it. Okay? I'm kind of stealing Nike's thing here. Just do it. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Just do it. Just start writing. Just give the statements. Just give the facts. Okay? So here comes the red marker, because I think and I believe and in my opinion and in this paper I will. Makes me want to throw up. Makes all English teachers want to throw up. Once you get to the high school level, you don't want to use things like this. Now, if you're stuck when you're writing, you're having writer's block and you can't figure out how to start, fine, go ahead and write this. But then later when you're editing, take this out. Get rid of it. We don't want statements like these. Okay? Screenshot. Have those. Don't use them. The end.